I always thought hiking alone was peaceful. No crowds, no noise, just trees stretching endlessly into the sky and the sound of leaves crunching beneath my boots. That's why I started recording video diaries, little memories for myself, moments I could look back on later. But after what happened in those woods, I've never watched those recordings the same way again. It happened last October. The weather was cold enough to make the air sting my lungs, but not cold enough to stop me from hiking. I picked a trail a few hours away from my town. It wasn't popular. In fact, during the entire drive there, I only passed 2 other cars. At first, everything felt normal. The forest was beautiful in that eerie autumn kind of way. Orange leaves covered the ground like a blanket. The trees were so tall they blocked most of the sunlight, leaving long shadows everywhere. I remember pulling out my phone and recording myself near the trail entrance. "Day trip," I laughed into the camera. "Hopefully I don't get murdered out here." At the time, it was just a joke. Now I can barely hear those words without feeling sick. About an hour into the hike, I noticed something strange. Every now and then, I'd hear footsteps behind me. Not animals, not branches moving in the wind. Actual footsteps. Whenever I stopped walking, the sound stopped too. I turned around multiple times, but the trail behind me was always empty. I tried convincing myself I was being paranoid. Forests do weird things to your mind when you're alone long enough, so I kept hiking. A while later, I stopped near a small creek to record another video. I flipped the camera toward the scenery, talking about how quiet the woods were, and then I heard it. A faint crunch, like someone stepping on leaves. I spun around fast enough to almost drop my phone. Nobody was there. At least, that's what I thought. That night, after I got home, I started going through the footage to edit clips together. Everything looked normal at first, until I paused one video. Way in the background, partially hidden between the trees, was a man. He was standing perfectly still, black hoodie, purple hat, just watching me. At first I thought maybe it was another hiker, but then I kept reviewing the footage, and I found him again, and again, and again. In almost every video, somewhere far behind me, the same man appeared, sometimes closer than before. In one clip, he was standing directly between 2 trees only about 30 feet away, completely motionless. I felt my stomach drop. The worst part? I never saw him while I was hiking, not once. I barely slept that night. I kept replaying the videos over and over, trying to convince myself it wasn't as creepy as it looked, but deep down, I knew it was. A few days later, I decided to stop during a road trip at a small gas station just outside another hiking area. It was late evening. The sky was getting dark, and the parking lot was nearly empty. I went inside to use the restroom. The second I stepped out, I froze. Standing near the entrance was the same man, black hoodie, purple hat. My heart nearly stopped. At first I thought maybe I was imagining it. There was no way it could actually be him. But then he smiled at me. Not a friendly smile. The kind of smile that instantly makes your body tense before your brain even understands why. He started walking toward me slowly. "Hey," he said casually. "Do you remember me?" Every instinct inside me screamed to run, but I didn't want to overreact. Maybe he really was just another hiker from the trail. "I think you've got the wrong person," I said quietly. "No," he replied. "I saw you hiking a few days ago." The second he said that, I felt ice run through my veins. He took another step closer. "My car broke down nearby," he said. "Could you help me? I just need a ride for a couple miles." I looked past him toward the parking lot. I didn't see any broken down car. In fact, I didn't see another person anywhere. The gas station suddenly felt way too quiet. I stepped backward and told him I couldn't help. That's when his expression changed. The smile disappeared instantly. His eyes locked onto me in a way I'll never forget. Cold. Empty. Like he was trying to decide something. Then he said quietly, "Come on, it's not far." I turned and started walking quickly toward my car, but I could hear his footsteps behind me, not running, just following, steady, slow. I was shaking so badly I almost dropped my keys. And then suddenly, a woman's voice shouted, "Oh my God, there you are." I looked up to see a couple walking toward me fast. The woman wrapped her arm around mine immediately like we were friends. "We've been looking everywhere for you," she said loudly. I didn't understand at first. Then I saw the way she glanced behind me. The man in the purple hat had stopped walking. He just stood there staring at us. The husband stepped between me and him. At first, they thought it was a ghost. It started with small things. Cabinet doors left open, footsteps in the hallway at night, food disappearing from the kitchen, and strange scratching noises coming from beneath the house. Emma and Tyler had only lived in the old rental home for 3 months when the disturbances began. Every single night, right after midnight, they would hear movement under the floorboards. Slow dragging sounds, heavy breathing, sometimes a soft cough. Tyler tried to ignore it. He blamed the old pipes, the weak wooden floors, maybe even rats. But Emma knew something wasn't right, because things kept moving. Their bathroom mirror would be covered in fingerprints every morning. The basement light kept turning on by itself. And one night, Emma woke up to find muddy footprints leading from the basement door, straight into the kitchen. That's when they called their friend Marcus. Marcus loved paranormal investigations. He had a small YouTube channel where he explored abandoned places and haunted houses. The moment he heard the story, he was excited. "Relax," he laughed. "There's no ghost in your basement." At least, that's what he thought. The next night, Marcus arrived with 2 cameras, a flashlight, and audio equipment. Rain hammered against the windows as he set up the recording gear inside the living room. "This is perfect horror movie weather," he joked. Emma didn't laugh. She looked terrified. Marcus started recording. "All right, guys," he whispered dramatically into the camera. "Tonight we're investigating a house that may be haunted. Strange noises, missing food, possible paranormal activity beneath the home." Tyler rolled his eyes. Marcus slowly approached the basement door. The old wooden stairs creaked loudly as he descended into darkness. The air immediately changed. Cold, wet, heavy. The basement smelled rotten. Marcus pointed his flashlight around the room. Old furniture, dust-covered boxes, broken shelves. Nothing unusual. "See?" he whispered to the camera. "No ghosts." Then, a loud thud echoed somewhere deeper in the basement. Marcus froze. The sound didn't come from the pipes. It sounded human. Tyler nervously laughed upstairs. "You hear that?" Marcus slowly walked toward the back storage area. The flashlight beam shook slightly in his hand. Another noise. Scratching. Slow, deliberate scratching. The camera microphone picked up something else too. Breathing. Very faint, but definitely there. Marcus swallowed hard. Okay, not funny anymore. The storage area was hidden behind a hanging plastic sheet covered in mold stains. The scratching stopped. Everything became silent. Marcus stared at the sheet for several seconds. Then, he pulled it aside. At first, the camera didn't fully understand what it was seeing. A pile of blankets, dirty containers, rotting food, and then, eyes. A pair of pale eyes reflecting in the flashlight beam. Marcus stumbled backward in terror. A man was sitting in the darkness. His skin looked gray and sickly. His beard was overgrown. His clothes were filthy and soaked, and he was smiling. Not a normal smile. A weak, unnatural smile. The man slowly raised one finger to his lips. "Shh." Marcus nearly dropped the camera. Tyler came running downstairs. "What happened?" The flashlight revealed the full scene. The homeless man had been living inside their basement storage area for weeks, maybe longer. There were stolen food wrappers everywhere, water bottles, blankets, even photographs of Emma and Tyler. Dozens of them. Pictures taken secretly inside the house. Emma screamed upstairs the moment she saw the footage on the monitor. The man suddenly started coughing violently, wet, painful coughing. Then he whispered something so quietly, the camera barely captured it. "I didn't want to be alone." Marcus backed away slowly, and that's when they realized how tall he really was. His head nearly touched the basement ceiling. Tyler grabbed a shovel nearby. "Don't move." The man didn't attack. He just stared at them, hungry, completely unstable. Police arrived minutes later, but according to officers, the basement door had no signs of forced entry, which meant one terrifying thing. The man had likely been entering the house every single night while they were asleep. After the investigation, police discovered the intruder had been secretly living in empty homes across the county for years. Nobody knew how many houses he had stayed in, or how long he had been watching people before they noticed. Marcus uploaded the footage online the following week. The video exploded overnight. Millions of people watched it. Most viewers focused on the terrifying moment Marcus discovered the hidden room.